Fox News alert, the FBI stepping in to help with a nationwide manhunt for the suspected killer who gunned down the CEO of UnitedHealth. And now other companies are looking to step up protection for their leaders. But our next guest warns effective security goes beyond bodyguards. Former leader of threat management team at UnitedHealth Group, Jameson Ritter, joins us now. Thanks for being with us. So let's start with this. A threat management team at a place like UnitedHealth, which we just saw this being the target of. What would you do? Like, how would you assess these types of threats, and what are your warnings here for other companies?
Well, you know, at the end of the day, a threat management team is truly multidisciplinary. What we try to do is take all information regarding threats to employees, to staff, to others, assess those for escalation to violence, and then ultimately try to intervene in some way that that prevents somebody from escalating to violence. So at the end of the day, it's a lot of prevention, a lot of hard work, and a lot of collaboration with other elements within and outside the company.
I want to ask you about one of the specific things that you have told us about myths or mistakes made when you're talking about protecting CEOs. The myth that employees snap. That is something that we all have come to believe, I think, anecdotally, that all of a sudden an employee loses it and boom. But instead, it's, as you describe it, more like a cat and mouse game. Would you explain that?
Yeah, absolutely. So targeted violence, things like terrorism, active shooters, school shooters, workplace violence, domestic violence, all those things. It really is about a understandable escalation, a pathway to violence. What we're looking at here is predatory violence or targeted violence, which is a deliberate decision to go from grievance to action through several understandable stages. And our job as security professionals are try to move that timeline further and further away from an action of violence. So we can observe things like planning, surveillance, communications, what we might call leakage, where people are on social media or talking to friends and family about their intent or their grievance. So we're really trying to pick a needle out of a haystack in a lot of ways and identify the one of potentially hundreds or thousands of people that might have the ability to go from having a very strong grievance to willing and able to act in violence. So,
Jameson, I know that you may be somewhat read into this investigation, but I don't want to presume you know specifically about this instance just yet. I mean, you did work with UnitedHealth Group, but we're having a conversation, you and I just now, in how you assess threats that come from internally. I believe that's the presumption underlying whether or not someone snaps or stalks you. But is there anything in this particular case right now that leads you down the path of we're having the right conversation, that this is about some threat that emerged internally? Or could it still be an external threat here that is this case when it comes to UnitedHealth?
You know, it's hard to say at this early stage, but what I'd be willing to say is the threat management process is assessing these types of threats really can come from any direction. It can be external, can be internal. It can come from all sources. In a case like this, it's possible that this person may have communicated with others outside the company, within the company, through other methods. It's clear, at least from my perspective, that in many ways, this is a very strong case of a grievance move to action. So the things like what we've been hearing about the items written on the ammunition, the ability to do surveillance, to be there early. All of these things are very deliberate, target predatory violence, predatory acts leading up to violence.
Even I would suggest, I would presume, identifying Mr. Thompson suggests there is some familiarity and perhaps even a grievance here as the motivation. But we'll see. I have to see those plays out. Jameson Ritter, thanks for being with us this morning.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.